Hello there, I believe all of you are doing very well and that you have also enjoyed the holiday season with the closest ones. After lazy days, that mainly consisted from three activities, namely watching a lot of Netflix movies, eating an abnormal amount of Christmas desserts, and minimum movement, I think it's time to try something new. Therefore, for today's recipe, I have a tip for lunch or dinner that combines chicken rolls with a potato puree. As usual, I will be listing all the ingredients down below in the description of this video. So, let's get into it. Chicken breasts and potatoes form a pretty good team, so why not give it a bit of spin? In my take, I combine chicken breasts with spinach, ham and cheese. Regarding potato puree, I have been inspired by the masterclass course by Gordon Ramsay, which I am linking down below in the description of this video. Additionally, I will also leave you a link to the potato puree recipe in the description. P.S. This puree is seriously one of the best ones I have ever had. So, let's have a quick final overview of the ingredients and begin the work. Before I start, I ensure I have the correct type of potatoes, as not all of them are a good fit for the puree. Recommendation: pick the ones with the most starch to achieve the best results. I peel the skin of the 6 medium-sized potatoes first, with a total weight of around 900 grams. I put the potatoes into a larger bowl, and as the next step, I cut them into smaller, similar-sized cubes. Once all the potatoes are cut into these smaller cubes, I move them into a medium-sized pot and pour around 900 ml of water into the pot. The water should go slightly above the potatoes, around 2 to 3 centimeters. Next, I stir the potatoes and turn on the heat to medium-high. The final step here is to cover the pot with a lid and leave the potatoes until they start to boil. While the potatoes are in the pot, I peel the skin of 10 garlic cloves. I will use 6 pieces in the puree and the remaining 4 in the chicken rolls. Once the potatoes start to boil, I pick up the extra released foam and lower the heat. I let them simmer without lid for around 8 minutes. In the meantime, to utilize the time, I focus on the heavy cream. I poured 350 ml of heavy cream into the pan, turn on the medium heat and bring it slowly to a boil. While this is happening, I crush 6 garlic cloves with a knife so all the flavor is released. When the heavy cream starts to boil, I decrease the heat and add 2 bay leaves, crushed garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg and also a bit of black pepper and salt. I stir it so that all the ingredients are properly combined and the nutmeg has a chance to become soluble in the heavy cream. I let it simmer for around 5 minutes until the cream becomes thick. I check the potatoes in the other pot and see they are good to go. I strain them well and I return them to the pot. I put the pot with the lid on the gas top and leave it without heat. About time, the heavy cream has become thick enough, so I strain it into a bowl. By using a tablespoon, I release the additional flavor from the ingredients into the cream. I put the heavy cream aside and I finish the potatoes. While they are still hot, I process them using a ricer. I do this several times until all of them have gone through it. Next, I collect any remaining parts from the ricer. As the next step, I pour around 1/3 of the heavy cream into the potatoes and stir them using a plastic spatula. I stir them for around 2 minutes and slowly increase the speed. After approximately 2 minutes, I add the second third to the mixture and mix them again so they are fluffy, airy and light. I add the last third into the mix after around 2 minutes and give it a final couple of stirs. The plastic spatula helps to beat the potatoes and give the puree its form. While the puree is still warm enough, I add the unsalted butter and beat it into it. The butter will melt during the process, resulting in this creamy potato puree. Okay, the side dish is done, let's focus on the stuffed chicken rolls. I have 2 chicken breasts weighing around 650 grams in total. I cut them horizontally in half so they are easier to work with. As the next step, I am using a meat pounder to tenderize and pound out the meat. This will result in thinner and bigger pieces, which will be easier to roll and cook. I pound them from both sides one by one and move them to an empty plate. For the following parts, I am moving to the counter. As for the first step, I add the black pepper and salt to the chicken breast from both sides. Next comes up the garlic I put away a couple of minutes ago. I add 1 garlic clove to each chicken breast and spread it with a knife. Ham is the next ingredient that I add to the chicken breast, which is followed by sliced cheddar. To give the chicken rolls a bit of color, I add a few baby spinach leaves and grated mozzarella on top of them. As the final step, I add a few basil leaves and the chicken roll is good to go. For the assembly, you have 2 options you can take. One of them is to use toothpicks, which will hold the chicken rolls together. The next option is to use a thread and follow my steps. Here I use a red thread so that I can easily distinguish it from the real meat. I ensure it is long enough, make an intersection in the middle, and I make a knot on the top of it. I repeat this process with the 3 remaining chicken breasts. First I add the black pepper and salt and continue with the garlic, ham, sliced cheddar, baby spinach leaves and grated mozzarella. As the final step, I add a few pieces of basil leaves. As with the first piece, I use the red thread, make an intersection in the middle and finish the process with a knot. Great! 2 down, 2 to go. Once I have prepared all the chicken breasts, I turn on the gas to medium heat and pour the olive oil into the pan. Once the oil is hot enough, I add all 4 pieces to the pan and fry them from one side. After a couple of minutes, I turn the rolls so they can also fry from the other side. The meat has turned its color to white, which means I can lower the heat and put a lid on the top to properly cook the chicken breasts. I also pour a bit of water into the pan to prevent the meat from burning. I leave the lid on the pan for several minutes and once around half of the water has vaporized, I remove it. I leave the chicken rolls in the pan for a few more minutes to achieve the golden brownish color on the top. And we're done. Time for serving. As the first thing, I add the potato puree on the plate and sprinkle it with chopped chives. Then, when the meat is not completely hot, I add 2 stuffed chicken breasts to the plate. Bon appetit! Enjoy this quick and tasty dinner, just like I'm going to enjoy mine. Thank you for watching my latest video. As usual, you can find the ingredients in the description of the video. Also, let me know in the comments if you have tried this recipe. I'm curious to know. I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.